So please welcome Roger Harper.
Hi everyone, I'm Roger Harper, Managing Director of Tahua Group. Probably most of you don't know who Tahua Group is, but you'll know our brands, and hopefully by the end of this prezo you will know who Tahua Group is. So let me just get used to this clicker in reading. Okay, so about us. Tahua Group started in 2018 with the purchase of Starbucks. And so our vision when we set out, it actually was a group of 5 people. I say it's happened in a hurry, but it was a lifetime in the making, because Tahua Group now is a very significant business. But it was born kind of just before COVID, in COVID, I like to think, and it was born in the biggest recession of our time. So the fact that we've actually developed the business through this time has been an epic journey. And so I think it's fair to say that we can describe Tahua as a fast growth company. When we set out to create a great Kiwi business. That's a bit of a nebulous concept. We set out to build a business of scale. In New Zealand, getting scale is really difficult. Most of us, or in fact all of us, have been retailers most of our lives, small to large. 2 of our shareholders are Pack and Save owners who had one started as a shelf stacker. So we knew New Zealand retail very well. We knew New Zealand business very well. We knew how difficult it was to actually get scale. I'm actually going to skip through these quickly too, like Barnaby, because I just tested this an hour ago and it takes too long. And you want to get to the good pictures at the end. But Tahua is home to some of New Zealand's most recognisable brands in 3 key sectors. So hospitality, as I say, the whole business started with Starbucks New Zealand in 2018, Burger King, and most recently in hospitality, Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen. We're very excited about Popeyes. Then in retail, number 1 shoes, the oldest retailer in New Zealand, Hannah's, 1868. Torpedo 7, and again most recently there, one of our own little creations, The Outlet. And then probably you might think slightly oddly, in healthcare, it's Hearing Resonate Health, and that's a great story too, which I shall tell you shortly. So this is the journey so far. So I'll give you a little bit of a background of each. Starbucks in 2018, again, like most of Tahua, it happened in a hurry, but it actually was planned a long time before. And we actually thought about buying Starbucks in 2014, and that was from Restaurant Brands. Starbucks, bit of a checkered history in New Zealand. The perception around Starbucks was Charbucks, and it was perceived as a business failure in New Zealand. Restaurant Brands had taken it to 48, I think, stores, and by the time we ended up buying it, it was down to 22 stores. Today it's back up to 42 stores, and I'll show you some pictures. They're beautiful. We ended up landing the deal in October 2018. So 22 stores, sort of 25 million of turnover, 200 employees. Burger King, some of you may remember, and because it's been around 30, 40 years, probably a lot of you have leased it or done property developments with it. Likewise had a rather sad demise. However, turned out to be COVID's great gift to us. In the first week of COVID, March 2020, Burger King went into receivership. Again, I could write a story about this. It's COVID's gift in a way, because we ended up buying it in October off the receivers, and the gift was that because of COVID, no overseas buyers could actually come and look at Burger King in New Zealand or travel anywhere near New Zealand. So it was all up to New Zealanders to come up with the dosh to make the bank happy to buy Burger King, which we eventually did. I don't think we came up with enough dosh to make the bank happy, incidentally, but it certainly ended up making us happy. Burger King has been an unbelievable turnaround in business for us and has really been the driver of our business. And when I said tried to get scale, that immediately gave us scale. When we bought it, it was 80-odd stores, and we ended up closing a few, in fact, and it was around 170 million turnover. I'm not going to tell you its turnover today, but I'm going to tell you it's a lot higher than that. And it's back to 80 stores. It went down to 74, back to 80. So that's been quite a journey. Then Hannah's and Number One Shoes, in fact, that another long story. John Elliott, who some of you may know, and myself were doing a turnaround in that business for Hallaby Holdings, an owner that didn't know why it actually held that business and had no strategy for it. We ended up having an amazing opportunity to buy it with an Australian private equity firm in 2017, and in 2021, actually not long after the Burger King purchase, February 21, that's when we purchased the footwear business from Allegro into 100% into Tahua. I had been leading that business up to that point, and then I took over leading the group. Then the R is Resonate. I'll tell you a little bit about that later. But that is our hearing clinic business, a disruptor. Then Popeyes in 2024. Popeyes is Southern Fried Chicken, and what's the not to love about Southern Fried Chicken? Popeyes is a party, and we love Popeyes. Then the famous purchase of Torpedo 7, and I think it was Markets with Madison, as she said, where everyone gets a bargain. We paid $1 for Torpedo 7, and we've thought since then we paid too much. Anyway, if the outlet ends up coming out of Torpedo 7, that's a truly beautiful thing, and we're very hopeful for the outlet. We birthed the outlet in this year, so it's actually just a few months old. So we've done 4 acquisitions, 5 turnaround plans, 3 startups. We've been busy. Actually, just a note on that from a property point of view, when John and I came into the footwear business at Hallaby, Hallaby board had just done a feasibility about shutting down Number One Shoes, and they never shut it down because it had a $45 million lease tail. Anyway, we're happy they didn't shut it down. Let me just give you a very brief overview of Tahua's strategy. As I said, we set out to build a scale business. I think we've done that. We love brands, both global brands and iconic New Zealand brands, and we're trying to create some of our own ourselves. We go for businesses if we're purchasing. A lot of our businesses have been in distress, but they've had strong market positioning and great brand recognition. And so we love a turnaround, business improvement opportunity. In that type of situation, you tend to get the opportunity to buy well. And I think we have, on the whole, bought well. We look for unique strategic growth opportunities, so we're not looking to maintain businesses, we're looking to grow businesses, and within our 3 sectors we have very strong growth plans for all of them. And another way we describe the business, particularly to banks and funders, is we wanted to create a platform business. People said to us at the time, what the hell is a platform business? And I'm not going to take my remaining 15 minutes to tell you what a platform business is, but basically it's creating in the background a technology platform and a services platform that can serve all the businesses and take a lot of cost out, which is actually, and add a lot of capability, which is a fairly important factor in all business today. Like all businesses and each of you, we're facing a world which we live in where complexity, challenges and opportunities are all hitting us at the same time. I mean, obviously it wouldn't be a good presentation without mentioning AI, and I'm sure you've had AI mentioned somewhere in this conference today. But that's our latest disruptor, but there's disruptors all over our business. Probably the biggest disruptor for our business has been channel change. Over the years, first online, but most recently delivery and hospitality and pickup, mobile order and pay. These things have been massive disruptors in our business, and having to move so quickly, good COVID word, pivot, is really challenging, but exciting on the other hand as well. We face increasing costs, CPI leases being one of them, real challenge at the present time. It'd be nice if we could have negative inflation. And the move to value. I think that they say in the States now 80% of retail is purchased at a discount, some sort of discount, one thing or another. As I say, channel change, third-party aggregator, the demise of traditional marketing models, the marketing media, if you think about QSR businesses, they have a percentage of the amount of money that go to marketing that must be spent within a country, and that marketing has propped up TV stations and still continues to, as QSR's some of the biggest marketing spends that there are in the country, but a lot less people watching TV these days. And as it moves to social media, like in all marketing, very hard to see how effective the marketing actually is, and now it's spread across many different platforms. That provides us like a huge challenge in marketing, but also a huge opportunity. Cultural change. The only thing I'm going to mention here is angry customers. Unbelievable. We almost had one of our staff murdered in Takanini 3 years ago. 16-year-old young guy out cleaning the tables was stabbed and fortunately found within 2 minutes of his life going. And through COVID, I don't know, something got broken in New Zealand during COVID and it hasn't quite yet been fixed. And there's a lot of anger there, and so protecting staff and actually giving a great customer experience while thinking about customer safety and staff safety has become a major challenge. I've put AI there, I could talk to you all day about AI, and I said it's probably going to be epic. That's because we all think it's probably going to be epic, but it ain't epic yet. The best example I can give you for us, though, and we've been right at the forefront of AI for QSR in the world, because we ran one of the first successful trials of an AI agent taking your order in BK. And so as of this Christmas, I think about 30 of our BK stores will be an AI agent taking your order, and you can have dual drive-throughs going, and our little AI agents very happily serving both customers at exactly the same time. And then they've got to race to the window, and we've got to work out which one to serve first. But, that's part of the challenge. And AI, I'm sure, will tell us in due course. And then recently, of course, it's the economy stupid. The recession we've had in New Zealand, and we're a good example. We're actually a good barometer. So say it's been a hurry, but we've grown a lot. And I don't know if I'm jumping my slide, am I? No, but basically now about 10% of Kiwis come through one of our doors or onto one of our websites or into one of our restaurants every week, right across the country. So we get a very good feel for what is happening out there, and I can tell you right now, not a lot. She's been banging along the bottom for now quite a long time, and we all remain very hopeful that it'll get better. And we're retailers, we have to be optimistic, and masochistic. And we're hoping that this Christmas is the turning point. So Tahua Group and property. We actually love property. We're not heading off and all online. We probably are one of New Zealand's biggest tenants by number. It wouldn't be by square metres, but by actual tenancies, I think we'd be right up there. So we have over 230 trading locations. Property is really a strategic pillar, and whilst I don't know hardly any of you, I do see some familiar faces out there, hopefully friendly ones. And we've had a bumpy ride over the years in retail, but we're having a good one right now, so let's enjoy it. Well, at this end anyway. I've always believed in the power. I've always loved corner sites. So my eye is always drawn to a corner site, whether it's on a high street or whether it's in a mall. Unfortunately, they tend to be the most expensive ones. But we continue to love a corner site, and we believe in the power of the right property. In recent years, we've become property developers as well, like many of you, so that's been quite an experience and quite a steep learning curve. We had to become property developers because we took on rolling out Popeyes, and basically very quickly we realised that we weren't going to be able to roll out Popeyes unless we were willing to buy the properties and develop them. So we've had all the joys of dealing with New Zealand councils over the last 3 years, and again, it's not getting better. Apparently it was supposed to get better. It's not getting better. And we just, in fact, got a resource consent for Tiro. I think that took 2.5 years. 2.5 years. I mean, honestly, there was a good reason to have that debate, but we could have had that debate in 6 months, not 2.5 years. Everything here takes ages to do. And so, again, to actually have the growth that we've had in the time that we've done it, I think is a major achievement, and I'm very proud of our team for doing that. Most recently, I think we built 18 drive-throughs in 15 months, and those were pretty much all of our own developments. I don't think anyone's ever done that, not even Macca's in their heyday of rolling out sites would have done 18 in that period of time. Again, channel change and network impacts, just leave with you a thought there. It's a beautiful thing, I've got to say. We get to roll out Popeyes at a time when the channels have all changed. Our major competitor, who I won't mention, but has been here for over 50 years, rolled out their network when things looked very, very different. People were actually visiting restaurants and eating in lobbies, and drive-through wasn't even a thing. Now, less than 20% of people are actually served in a lobby. So 80% go through drive-through, pickup, or delivery. That is a massive change, and when you want to build a network, when you can build for that sort of channel change, and you can build for delivery radiuses and all that sort of thing. I think there's 120 that our competitor has. I can tell you there will never be 120 Popeyes. There'll be a lot less than that, but they'll be great stores, and they will serve Kiwis very well, and you will have a party in them. Bigger is better and less is more. So I don't think, whilst I say we like property, we're now tending towards, in our retail, when we started out in the footwear retail, we had 114 stores. Today we've only got about 58 stores. Next week we'll probably have 57. The format that won out of COVID was number one shoes, not Hannah's. The service model, expensive small stores and malls, just doesn't work in New Zealand, well, not for us anymore. Whereas in this particular case, the big box model, greater sense of choice, and also not somebody right over your shoe putting it on your foot, which is what you wanted before COVID and what you didn't want after COVID. So self-service, that has definitely been a trend that we have leaned into by shutting a lot of stores, but also by making our number one stores a much more attractive and better customer experience. And as I say, with Popeyes, we'll roll out less Popeyes. They'll be a bit bigger. We actually are trying to create lobbies that families want to come and share meals in. So we want them to be attractive. We want them to be vibrant. And in that case, we have the background of the New Orleans theming that we can do to do that. And trending formats, drive-through, self-service, you get the themes. And for us personally, from a pride point of view, and just being good Kiwis and serving our communities, we want to build beautiful spaces and places. Because people meet less in their homes these days. There's smaller apartments. They actually come out and they want to dwell and spend time, and we want to create beautiful places for them. So I will get to some pictures of some beautiful places. So always our journey in pictures. Now, actually, the very start of this journey, which was with the Hellaby board, all I did was a presentation to them where I showed them pictures of their stores. And a picture really does tell a story. The story is, down the bottom there is what we inherited. Whangarei, which is one of our top stores. This was just refurbed lately. And we didn't go into a refurb program immediately when we took over Burger King, because refurbs cost a lot of money and their refurb program wasn't working and we didn't like the design. We paused, we fixed a lot of equipment that needed to be fixed. We fixed the headsets so that people could hear the ordering, and we improved the quality of our service at BK before we went and spent a lot of money on something which we didn't know whether it was going to work. We are now spending a shed load of money rolling these refurbs out, and they're really working. And BK International, Restaurant Brands International actually, who's a master franchisee, hate black. So that was a great argument over time. Now that they see the sales numbers, they love black. Literally had an executive down here going like, oh, I think I like the black now. Anyway, we love black. We're Kiwis. You know, you come in for shoes, you look at the yellow one, you look at the red one, you look at the orange one, you buy the black one. We know you. This is the inside of Burger King Whangarei. And we are, as I say, we're just in the middle of our program of starting to roll these out right through the country, and we're very proud of them. They're a big step up for BK. This one is, what's this one, Charles? Henderson. Yes, Henderson, basketball court. This one was an absolute shocker. Henderson is QSR Central, if you've ever gone along Lincoln Road. It's pretty hard not to actually be driving through a drive-through. And again, great refurb, as you can see, transformational, transforming sales. This is Beta Drive. Somebody said to one of our directors, love that new Burger King you've got in Beta Drive. And Paul said, we don't have a new Burger King in Beta Drive. Paul didn't actually know we'd refurbed it. The guy goes, yeah, no, it's definitely new. 20 years new. Starbucks. So Starbucks, again, when we took it over, no store had been refurbed for 10 years, no new stores for 10 years. And Starbucks, we got tremendous momentum. Charles actually led the business, tremendous momentum in the first couple of years of first 18 months of Starbucks, and then we hit COVID. Disaster. And we hadn't refurbed the Queen Street store, which is our flagship store, which at the time, pre-COVID, did $3.5 million a year, which was, you know, one of the busiest cafes in New Zealand. So everybody thought Charbucks, but actually the line at that old Charbucks was what attracted me to Starbucks a few years before that. And we're not averse to taking a risk or trying something new. And so we actually refurbed this Starbucks in 2021. We spent $800 grand refurbing it. Everybody said, you're absolutely stark raving bonkers. People aren't going to go back to Queen Street. And to be fair, we're not doing $3.5 million today in Queen Street. And Queen Street, though, is about to come back, in my view. And when they come back, we'll be ready for them. And we have created a beautiful store in Queen Street. And because I'm running out of time, this has got a red light flashing at me. This is really not good. So you'll have to make your questions short and sweet. I will flick through. There's a Starbucks at Sylvia Park. That was on the right-hand side, the one before we did it, on the left-hand side after, and that's going through some planning for a completely new life. That's Linmore. Popeyes. We're going to actually have to miss the video because I don't have time to play you the video. But Popeyes, we love Popeyes. As say, it is based on New Orleans and Southern fried chicken. If you haven't tried the Popeyes sandwich, I'll just leave it at that. You should try the Popeyes sandwich, and then you can die happy. Oh dear, I can't go past that. I can? I can go past that. See, I told you it was a party. And so Popeyes in New Zealand, we did the first store, so just on property, did the first store at Takanini. It closed down the motorway. It's just past the BP on the left as you come off at Great South Road. We were not going to die wondering. We were doing a completely new concept in New Zealand. This will be the first QSR that's successfully rolled out for 30 years since BK came. And I was not going to die wondering whether it was the property or the concept. And as I told you, we had to buy the property. So ironically, we bought a medical centre and knocked it down and put up a Popeyes. That is the most expensive property that we'll ever do. We will never do that again. But it was unbelievable. It broke a world record for opening day. It closed down the motorway. I actually had to go the second day and stop fighting neighbours. The BP were threatening to take us to the council. It was amazing. And we had to close the drive-through down for 3 weeks. And there was a line of 200 people just along Great South Road for 3 weeks. Come rain, hail, snow, whatever. Unbelievable. And that record was absolutely smashed by our latest opening in Invercargill, which beat that record by 20%. And in Invercargill, in the first week, we worked out it was $5 for every man, woman and child in Invercargill. It was a beautiful thing, I can tell you. And then finally, the outlet, because I have run out of time, and I do want to, if someone has got a question, I do want to. This is to get to the $1 purchase. We have just announced lately that we're closing down all T7 stores. And in a nutshell, T7 was a retail business plonked on an online model. It was a gargantuan cock-up by the Warehouse Group. Let's not talk about competitors. It's tough in retail. It's not difficult to make mistakes, but that was a big mistake. Then our mistake in buying it. But we have pivoted. We've done an amazing turnaround on the T7 business, actually. And then, but we've decided to go online only. That's taken it back to where it started. And we saw a gap in the market for the outlet. So we could have easily got rid of these stores. These stores are all in big box. You know that there's no vacancies in big box malls, are there? And no rent subsidies. So the guys, from an idea to opening the doors, setting up a supply chain, 12 weeks from when this idea happened. I think they've done an amazing job, and now a massive number of brands. And just quickly to think about it, it's like we've got outlet shopping centres in New Zealand, not many of them, and they're not that exciting. I mean, Manawa Bay is quite exciting, but few vacancies. And then take outlet shopping, you've got to come to Auckland to do outlet shopping. So we decided to put outlet shopping under one roof and take it to the provinces, effectively. The risk is that we're shoehorning a new idea and a new business into an old format, and there is a real risk in that. Some of these stores won't work. We will have to pivot, but it is an amazing idea. Think TK Maxx, TJ Maxx, whichever part of the world you're in. We're doing a Kiwi version of that, and it's going amazingly well. So I'm going to end there. Or did I have a brilliant line to leave you with? Let me just check. Because I feel like I did. It wasn't that brilliant, actually. It has actually been a wild ride. On the whole, it's been a fun ride. We could actually be a bit better than we are. So my wife was complaining this morning that her umbrella she'd bought from the outlet hadn't turned up and that the paving stones were broken when they arrived. I'm just going like, oh, do I need that when I wake up in the morning? I said, ring the line. Don't talk to me. So hopefully she has today. But anyway, incredibly challenging. You know it is. But we won't be stopping anytime soon. We've got a lot of ideas, a lot of opportunities. And maybe at some stage we'll come across each other again and we'll enjoy that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Roger. That was so insightful and a wild ride as well, the journey that you've been on. Nothing like getting a bit of customer feedback before you've even rolled over in the morning.
That's right.
Lots of questions, so we'll squeak in as many as we can in the time that we've got. What has been the secret to success in the turnaround of Burger King in a highly competitive burger market? I know you showed us the refurbishments, but you also said you didn't do that until you saw some evidence of traction.
So I think, I love a Whopper. We thought it was a great product, and we knew the business actually well, and the business had been very poorly managed and treated. I used to call our first 4 businesses our 4 orphans, because their previous owners didn't want them, didn't love them, didn't invest in them, and that was our opportunity. And I called Burger King, and don't laugh because people do, but our abused child. It almost was. It was that bad. The way the staff had been treated in that business, and the way that the customers, the landlords, everybody was treated in that business was awful. And it had a terrible culture. So I sort of almost broke down in tears recently as I explained what turned around Burger King was love. Love turned around Burger King. And the way that love showed up was fixing their headsets. We asked them the first day, what could we do the quickest thing to actually change this business for you? And they said, oh, fix the headsets. Nobody can hear us, nobody can understand us. And so we went, yes, good idea. And then we discovered each headset cost 11 grand each. And there was like 100 headsets.
Wow.
So,
hope you got a bulk discount.
Yeah, I don't think we did actually at that point. We would now. Yeah. We have a procurement officer now.
What are your thoughts on the recent buyout of Restaurant Brands? I think this takeover is an almost done deal. Is it a good buy given your understanding of the New Zealand market?
Oof, you're asking the wrong person that. I'd just direct you to look at the last Restaurant Brands annual report and what happened to comp sales. And then I'd ask you to say what happened in the last year. 7 Popeyes stores opened. 10 Popeyes stores opened. Actually go and have a look at it. That'll tell you why the buyout's happening. And believe me, the directors were right when they said accept the offer. There you go.
You mentioned Tito. Yeah. How hard is it to expand the business in regions where there is local opposition?
Look, at the end of the day, as I say, that was a very reasonable discussion to have on their part. And I like Tiro. I love that, but I loved it so much I stopped and looked and saw a property there. But because, you know, if you want to buy a coffee after 4 o'clock or actually after 2 o'clock in Tiro, you can't actually do that. And as far as I've seen, people drive through that 24 hours a day. But again, we're going to build a beautiful Starbucks in Tiro. It will become an iconic spot. It will be totally in sympathy to the architecture in Tiro. And again, we took 2.5 years. We're very happy to have the discussion. And I think for us, we want to build beautiful places. I always go, we're aligned. And if we're not aligned, then we probably shouldn't be there. Even unions, I say to the unions, we're aligned. We all want the best for our staff, and so you can have a dispute, but if you're actually wanting the best possible outcomes, you're not going to make everybody happy, of course, but we need to be responsible there. We need to build a beautiful building, and we need to make sure there's no rubbish there after we do that. Yeah.
Well, thank you for being so frank and entertaining. It's been wonderful to get an insight into Tahua Group. Please give Roger Harper a very big round of applause.
Thank you.